We go to Washington, D.C. to speak with Amira Woods, co-director of Foreign Policy and Focus at the Institute for Policy Studies. Amira, welcome to Democracy Now! Let's start off with the hostage situation in Algeria. What do you understand at this point?
Well, first, Amy, I think we have to begin by extending condolences to the families of all those who have lost life in this incredible tragedy. We have to understand that the situation is fluid. There are hostages that have reportedly been taken coming from at least eight different countries, including Britain, Japan, Ireland. There are now still reports that not only those that have been killed coming potentially from Britain, from France, from Japan, and other countries, but also that, this is a crisis that's still underway. The Algerian military is still seeing this as an ongoing incident, and so the information is scanty and it's fluid. It's changing very rapidly, and it's coming out very slowly because of the, remember, Algeria is essentially a military state, so information is not flowing freely, and also there is a reluctance, really, to share information with international actors, particularly former colonial powers and other Western countries, given the history of what has happened in Algeria.
Well, Amira, the reports coming out initially today say that many of the Western country governments were angry about the fact that the Algerians moved in without first discussing or talking to the countries whose nationals were being held hostage. But at the same time, the reality is that when the French went into Mali, and which, of course, ended up provoking this hostage crisis here, no one consulted with the Algerians as to whether the French should send troops into Mali.
Absolutely, Juan. I think this is a wonderful reminder that military attacks, military interventions lead to awful consequences. So clearly what we see, and it goes really back to the intervention in Libya, the military intervention in Libya, ousting Gaddafi, essentially unleashed massive caches of weapons coming both from the Libyan side, but also, from the Western side that was flooding Libya with weapons. Those weapons made their way to Mali and created an opportunity for ongoing conflicts in the north to really escalate. So I think we see these unintended consequences of military intervention, and we have to underscore that, often what we're doing is breeding more enemies, breeding more extremists at every turn. So I think clearly looking at the root causes of crises and trying to address concerns, particularly from people who are feeling marginalized, communities that have vast resources on their land, but are suffering from complete economic isolation and political isolation. I think we have to address these root causes. We cannot meet extremists where they are, through bombings and military attacks. We have to address issues of extremism, of militarism, of insurgencies by looking at economic opportunities in places that are long marginalized, looking at political expressions for people who have long not had a voice. It cannot only be interests in sort of economic and resources and military might to secure access to those resources.